studio tips and tricks. There are minor inconveniences in your studio, right? Development process is not quite easy in Eclipse. There are some minor inconveniences. So I found an workaround for that. I'll explain you what I found. If it's interesting, it will be helpful for you. First one, printing console log to an external file. The problem here is, the inconvenience I faced is, whenever I'm in debug mode, the console window takes a very little space, and I also have to watch my mule flow where my debug is, and also have to watch a mule event as part of troubleshooting, right? Let me quickly put a debug and explain you what I mean. You understand it better. Okay, it's already debug. Let me test it. Okay, so let me send a request. Here it is. Here I want to see my console logs, and I also have to see where the breakpoint is in my mule flow, and I also have to understand my mule event. Right? There's too much going on now, so it is clumsy. There is an option where you can print your console log to an external file and read from there. Okay, let me tell you also this. The clumsiness is one problem, and second problem is the console log will be overridden, right? If you if the if your flow is too much complex, or if you're enabling a debugging which gives you verbose logging, the earlier logs will be overridden, so you cannot see the previous logs if there is too much of logging happening, or if you're testing multiple times the same flow. These two problems can be solved with this. How do we do that? Let me stop it and go back to deployment window. So when you're deploying, right, we can configure the deployment process. Okay, so whenever we are deploying, we have an option to configure some configurations. So debug as, configure it. I go to common. We have an option called as output file. There you can mention your file name where you want to be forwarding this console log. A note here: I'm not creating extra logs. I'm just printing whatever comes in console to an external file. That is it. Okay, so I configured to this location. I'll hit debug. What happens is whatever coming in this console will be forwarded to that file. Let me go to that file now. This is that file, right? Let me refresh it. This is that file. Console redirect to this console.log. Okay. So logging is happening here. If you observe here, whatever comes in this console will be coming here. But here we have one more problem. Console is like auto refresh, but here we have to close and open the file again. To solve that problem, we have one more task to do. Go here, uh, open PowerShell in your PC. Uh, Command prompt where you can use some Linux commands, right? Is Windows shell script. Okay, we have to go to, okay, it's already in location. Our command for that is this one: get content file name hyphen wait. So it will automatically refresh the console log every time it's updated. I'm just showing you in two different windows on same screen. But if you have two screens in your work setup, can just put this console log in other screen, so you'll can see everything, right? It won't be this clumsy. I can just minimize this now. Okay, so I'll test it from my Postman. Whenever I hit send, see, it is something better than earlier screen. I'm able to see my mule event. I notice where the connector is, and also I see logs here. Okay, hit it, log will be updated. Yeah, if you have two screens, it will be more easy for you. I cannot share two screens at a time, so to record this video, I am doing it on same screen. This is one thing. There is also one more interesting thing to do here. Reset perspective. I'll have my console. You can detach the console. Instead of writing it external file or doing that, you can detach it. So it comes out. So it will be like this. You have your studio and your console is detached. It will be a separate window. And you don't see console here anymore because it's already externalized. This is good, but still the earlier console logs will be overridden, right? Since it is not external file. So if you have too much verbose logging, you need to have earlier logs. This is an option to externalize it. Hope it will be useful for you. And let's go to next one. Working sets. Okay, let me reset the window. I'll explain you what the working sets is. Here it is. Actually, my workspace is containing all these projects. Like there are so many. Even though I close them, that is still hard to navigate and search for my project every time. Okay. When you are in a project, this quickly accumulates. You will have multiple, probably even more than 10 or 20 projects in your workspace, right? You'll have a system API, experience API, process API for every project, so that accumulates quickly. You'll have tens of projects. It is very hard to navigate. So what I do is I create a working set. You click on these three dots, select working set, and then you create a new one. Make it as Java because it's a Java project. Like every mule is built on Java. Okay. Now I'm working on let's say security policies. I'm preparing some policy project or some messaging related project. Okay, let us call it as messaging. I'm working on LinkedIn. I'll add that. So this is, I'll remove this. So LinkedIn and what else? Do you have WhatsApp? Yeah, I'll add it. So I'm working on these two projects currently. Finish. Click OK. Now go here. Set working set. Messaging, right? Messaging. Click OK. So you see only those two here. It doesn't matter if your project is open or closed. This one still works perfectly. So I have only these two things to navigate now. It'll be easy. Working set is like a logical separation in your workspace. There won't be any separate folders created in workspace. It'll be as it is. Just logically representation wise, it'll be segregated. So I created an security working set here. I'll be working on these two. Even though the project is open, it will be coming here. So let me create one more for you. New one. It will be in Java project. So let's say I'm giving a meetup presentation. Okay, on March 13. I'll be showing this one to everyone. Right, I'll add that. So remove this. This is what I'm showing everyone in this mule meetup. Okay, finish it off. Okay, and go here. So working set. I want to do on meetup one. Working on this meetup project. I don't want anything else in my package explorer here. Click OK. I'll see only this one. It'll be easy for me. If you want to see everything else, the default one is window working set. You'll have this by default in your studio. Window working set. Click on this, you'll see everything. Okay, this will be useful to make it clean instead of being cluttered and having too many things to navigate. Useful one to make your developing experience and what do you call, instead of being too complex, it will be an easy, smooth going experience. Let's go to the next one. Generate documentation. I'll show you how to do it, and then I'll tell you what it gives us, how to use that. Okay. If you see here, there is an icon with the mule icon with on a file. Okay. Click on this. It generates document for your project. Okay. So location will be, let me call it as meetup March 13. So in this folder, it will create some documentation. We'll see what it is, what it creates, and how to use that. It creates some files based on this project, which will be useful for us. Okay, let us go there. Meetup. This is a folder created now. Images are, it gives you images of all the flows in your project. Right. We need these images as part of documentation purpose, right? We will be creating some low-level design document or high-level design document. Probably you need those mule flows. You can just take a picture from here. It's hard to take picture of this long file, elongated flow. So it gives you all the images of every flow. Okay. And also interestingly, you open this HTML pages, you will see this. It has all the flows, okay, including your immune test suite and also global XML. I'll tell you when we used it. There is a situation like we are training other colleagues in our company in MuleSoft, but still they are not in your team yet. So we cannot share them the whole project, right? Since the project contains some sensitive information, passwords, connectivity configurations, we shouldn't be sharing that. But we want to show them how the project looks in production, what is the real-time scenarios we are implementing. For them, we will share this HTML pages. All they can see is images of flows, understand what flows we have, right? And global configuration file. Here they will see how the connector configurations are represented. Observe, here we still don't have the actual values of the properties, right? They don't know the passwords, they don't know username, anything. This will be useful in sharing across teams. Right? You need to get a lot of permissions if you are sharing sensitive information. That's not good to do, not recommended. This helps in that scenario. Okay. And let's say you don't want to get all this extra documentation. You just need images of all the flows. There you get next one, flow snapshot. Right? In how to use it is currently it will be disabled by default. You click on any flow, then this will be enabled. You will see an camera icon, a black camera icon. Okay. Click on that, it creates a snapshot. You just save it somewhere. I'm saving it on desktop. Let's call it as account details meetup. Okay, it will just save it as an PNG image or JPG, whatever you want. It will be an image, so which you can just put in your Word document where you are preparing the documentation, right? That is the feature is snapshot. It will be here. It will be disabled by default. Should click on some flow to enable it. Whatever flow you select, it will take snapshot of that. I generally use it when the flow is too big, like we cannot pull this snippet tool and take picture of this complete flow, main flow, which is like too big, right? And though you increase it, you cannot take all the picture at once. Then I use snapshot feature for creating documentations. That will be useful there. Okay, this one also interesting one. View data view on the fly. While writing data view scripts, we generally do two things. One is go to transformation node and we enter our metadata and write our schema and do a preview on that. This is good enough when you are doing initial project development, right? We put some metadata here and we write some script and see the preview if it is good enough for our requirement. Or there's one more option to write data view on cloud. There is some Docker container deployed somewhere. MuleSoft gives you this dwlang.fun, but this may not be accessible to everyone. If you are in, especially in a corporate network, may not be accessible. And also, this is not recommended to place your sensitive payloads because it's just you are sending it to someone else for processing, right? It's not good to do. And also, you may have your own Docker container deployed to your PC and then you can run it option. But the one I'm talking about here is in your studio, if you want to test with the live data, when I say live, when I'm debugging, let me show you that. Okay, the message came from some other system or the real-time data is coming here. I want to test my database script against my mule event here, not the schema one, not the example payload I gave. I want my database script to be tested against this event here, a real-time event. What I do, I click on this. This is x plus y is equal to something like equation next to your terminate button. So click on that. It pops up this data view script window. I put my script here and evaluate. This is being evaluated against your current mule event here. That is interesting thing. See, I'll change my name here. That will be changed when I click on evaluate. Observe here, evaluate. So it is changed. This 11 and these numbers are coming from my payload actually. This is a payload. 11 and that numbers coming from here. This will be useful to test. Let's say there is some issue in your database script. It's not working with your. It's working with your example, but not with your actual payload. It's failing. Then you just quickly copy your database script what you wrote already. Go here and put it here and evaluate against this. If there is some not working, then you will just make some changes here and evaluate again. Right? This will be useful here. These are the tips which I noted. All the inconvenience, how I did a small, I found a small workaround that inconveniences to make the development experience smooth. If you have something, please share with us. This will be helpful for whole community. Right? If any questions, just let me know. Thank you so much. My name is Karthik Totapalli. Signing off. Bye bye.